everyone, and welcome back to Backstage Unplugged. Today we have the beautiful Leah Martin-Brown with us. Thank you so much for joining us, Leah.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a long time coming.
It has. And like I was saying to you before, it's so good to have a female on this podcast as well. I love chatting to females in the rock scene. It's so much fun, and I can't wait to get into it.
It's going to be great.
Gonna be so much fun. Okay, I'm gonna get you to do a little bit of an introduction at the start. So just introduce yourself. Obviously, you're an artist that's quite new to Frontiers. So I guess, do a little introduction for everyone.
Sure. My name is Leah Martin-Brown. If you know Frontiers roster, I am one of the newer additions as a solo artist, but I also have my own heavy rock band called Evol Walks, which I have fronted for far longer than I care to admit. And I do work both of those projects. I am from Australia, as you may be able to hear. I am originally from the Gold Coast, Queensland, but I've lived in LA for 12 or 13 years now. I've also lived in Stockholm, Sweden. If you've heard my solo album that I released, you would be familiar with the kind of pop rock, dark pop thing, but I am mainly a hard rock and heavy artist as well.
Yeah, awesome. So for those listening, you'll be able to hear that Leah and I have the same accent when I do not get to speak to any Australians very, very rarely. So it's so great to be like speaking to a fellow Aussie artist. It's so good.
I know, it's so nice to be able to speak to another Australian.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what I think's great about it as well is the fact that we're not speaking too fast to each other. Because every time I speak to someone from somewhere else in the world, apparently Aussies speak really fast, which I think was very, very interesting. Have you got that before?
That's so funny. I think it depends. I think when we get together, we speak really fast. My best friend,
Yeah.
I imported her over here to LA. So when we get together, our American friends are like, "What are you guys saying?" Because we are very Australian. But I think when you're talking to people of like different nations or cultures or whatever, I think it's mainly just the accent. They're just some people are fine and then some people aren't. I've had people be like, "What are you saying?" I'm like, "The same thing you're saying." Like, it's not
Yeah,
hard.
exactly. And there's like a couple of words as well, especially because you're obviously LA based. For people that don't know Leah, she's LA based now. Yeah, I think like for some people in America as well, we do say a couple of words different. Like I think there's aluminum and aluminium.
Yeah.
I can't think of any
Tomato,
other ones off the top of my head.
tomato and tomato.
Yeah.
Yeah, tomato and tomato. And
Yeah.
then just the way that we pronounce our A's are a little different.
Yeah. No, that's so funny. So funny. We're going to get straight into it with the questions with Leah because you're a very busy woman and I love that about you. I'm going to like obviously get right into the female in rock thing. You know, it can be hard out there for females in rock. What has your experience been, a female in the rock scene so far?
Okay, I'm about to age myself epically right now, so excuse me. But when I first started in the rock scene, it was a different time, a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not at that old, but I'm old enough that the people dominating the charts were all men. Evanescence had some time up there for sure, but overall it was predominantly males. So it is really nice nowadays that we have Hailstorm, we have Spirit Box, we have Holy Wars, we have all of these really big female-fronted artists out in front. So I think that's definitely helped. I do think at first in Australia, when I started, when I was playing gigs in clubs and pubs when I was like 14, 15, I do think there was an element of sexism and a little bit of that. But as I got older, I just kind of learned there was a way of dealing with it. I think also the fact I have bright red hair probably scares a few people. I've only really, I've only really run into like real full on misogyny probably when dealing with people behind the scenes who are trying to kind of dictate where I go with things, or I've had a few men try and take over my career and try and tell me how to do things. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, if you could do it, you would have done it. And that's why you're not.
Yeah. I love that so much. Yes, I have been there, done that, Leah. So I fully understand where you're coming from there. I think exactly right. Like what you were saying, it's really nice to see the scene kind of expand with female artists, and it's something that's really in right now. And I think that it's going to be in until the rest of time now, which is really exciting, like to be a part of that, both of us be a part of that new wave. It's really, really exciting.
It is really nice because at the crux of it, as someone's gender doesn't really like that doesn't apply to whether a song is good or not.
That's
Like
it.
the same song could be sung by a good song can be sung by anyone and have the same effect. So I think when we get into, gendering things, it gets a little silly. I mean, I'm guilty of being like
Yeah.
hashtag female fronted, but unfortunately the algorithm makes us do that. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, that's true. That's so true. And you know what? Like I find myself asking, because I've been in the scene for a little bit now too. I find myself asking also, like, would you say the same thing if it was a guy? Like, I don't see with like my male friends, and I talk to my male friends in the industry, I get lots of comments on like what I'm wearing. And it doesn't matter if I'm wearing, like the other day I was wearing a full like cat suit and I was fully covered,
I saw it.
or
It was
you're wearing
cute.
a bikini. And it's all right when ABBA does it, but it's apparently not all right when, a young female artist does it now. So I think there is that element of misogyny, and it's very interesting. And I really like the way, artists like yourself deal with it, and, they channel that into their music. That's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I think people are very quick to judge on the internet, unfortunately. But I'm pretty
Yeah.
lucky. I'm pretty lucky. I get a few nasty comments about the pop stuff. It's like as soon as I started doing a softer genre, people are like, "Oh, she's not going to punch me in the throat." Fellas, I
Yeah.
absolutely will. I make music that's in like B standard. I will come for you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. And I can definitely relate to that as well. Like you were saying before, you've kind of, you've got a background in rock music and heavy rock, but you've kind of, you're a bridging artist as well. Like you have that pop element about you. And with the new album, Love and Other Crimes, which I am obsessed with, it's a fantastic album. What were you kind of thinking going into kind of a new space and genre? Were you in any way a bit nervous to do that, or did it kind of just happen, kind of easily?
Look, it's really, I'll preface this. It's
Yeah.
hard for me to talk about this record in a way that doesn't sound, it was a difficult record to make. I'll just put it like that.
Yeah.
And
No, that's fair.
while I am the front of it and I am the artist, I did not get to write the songs. It's Mutt
Hmm.
Lang. So he was one
Yeah.
of the co-writers. He kind of had this project. And when I was presented with this collection of songs, I'm very grateful, by the way. Like, it's a wonderful project. It's really made things change as an artist.
Hmm.
I was living in Sweden at the time, and I'd gone over there at the end in September, October 2020, and Australia's borders hadn't shut yet. I was just trying to get out of LA because I just recently been part of one of the riots. I was like, oh my God, I have to leave this country right now. So
Yeah.
I go to Sweden to work on music for Evol Walks, and we were offered a record deal, and I was so excited because that's what I had been looking for like for years, and it kind of fell through. So I was in this spot where I was like, oh my God, like I've worked so hard, and I couldn't go home because Australia's borders has shut. I couldn't go back to the US because at the time I just couldn't like find somewhere to live or anything, and I had a place in Stockholm. And
Yeah.
my manager of the time called me. It was about 10:30 at night, and he's like, "I have this thing for you. You're going to be really upset with me first, and then you're going to see that it's a good thing." And I was like, "What do you
Yeah.
mean?" And he's like, "Well, I've got this album." He didn't tell me it was Mutt Lang to start with, because obviously I wouldn't have had this whole, because Mutt Lang's an
Yeah.
idol of mine. So
Yeah.
he said, "I have this album. It was shelved by the previous artist because there was just a lot going on, and the songs are kind of Def Leppard meets Shania Twain, and the people involved think that you would be the perfect front for this." And I was like,
Hmm.
"Okay, what's the catch? What's wrong with this album?" They're like, "Nothing's wrong with it. I was like, "Wait, so the songs are written?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'm not singing someone else's songs. Like, that's just
Yeah.
so against what I do." He's like, "Just listen to them and just know that they're by Mutt Lang." I was like, "What?" why did you lead with that? Oh my God. So
Yeah.
like the way he led it was just almost just like it was like just some album with someone's songs on it, and I was like, absolutely fucking not. But I was like, it's Mutt Lange, of course. So I listened, and the first song I heard was Hysterical Love, and I was like, damn, that's great. I also heard Shush, and there was part of me that was very resistant to it because for anyone not familiar with my band Evol Walks, it's not even close to pop rock. It is true hard, heavy rock and roll. We started with a bit of 70s, 70s AC/DC influence, but now we're kind of firmly in that like hard rock 90s era. So it's so
Yeah.
completely different. Even the style of singing is different. And it was a really big challenge, not just mentally to get over the fact that I was going into that pop genre, because at that time, I was still very much like rock's so cool, and and the songs were a challenge as well, just to learn how to change the way I sang to suit that particular genre. So I had to, it was because again, singing rock or heavy rock or belting, singing metal is a very different technique to singing the kind of pop that was in this album. So
Yeah, definitely.
I was very nervous because I wasn't sure how my current fan base would take it. Originally, they said I should release it under Evol Walks, and my manager at the time said that, and I was like, absolutely not, because it's so different.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I went with the solo route. I'm really proud of the album. There have been a few people that have been a little nasty, but I think that's just, I don't think that's any reflection of the songs of the album. I think it's more of a reflection of their insecurities.
Yeah, that's so true. And you know what? I think whenever you're going to do something that's a little bit different, or you're actually doing something in the industry, people are always going to have something to say about it. And the more you climb with your career, you're gonna find that. So I definitely I feel ya, sis.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But no, I remember. Obviously, we've talked a couple of times before this, and I remember you telling me about Mutt Lange, and those that are familiar with Def Leppard, Shania Twain, like he is a god. Such a good songwriter. And I think it's that thing as, a good song is a good song. And when you listen to the record, I think it's a real reflection of that too.
Thank you. Yeah, the songs on there, the three co-writers are just all brilliant, and it's been a real pleasure to be part of the album and work with them.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Do you think like listening obviously to this new record and getting into this pop rock kind of stuff, do you think it's kind of changed the way you songwrite for Evil Walks even?
That's a very interesting question. I think it's given me some more vocal ideas for sure.
Yeah.
And just especially with the ad-libbing and some of the harmonies, I was always pretty solid with the harmonies because I sang in church when I was younger, but I'm not religious, I just sang in church.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think like the hearing the melodies and where things can go vocally, it's definitely changed a bit. It's made it a little hookier in my melodies. I
Hmm.
don't think it's really changed the rest of the approach. I think maybe I've gotten to the chorus a bit quicker in some instances.
Yeah, no, that fully makes sense. Do you think with obviously you've been songwriting for a number of years, and what age did you start kind of really getting into songwriting? Because I know some people kind of have that like turning point with songwriting that they start on guitar or they start just with regular vocals and then they really get into it. What was kind of your journey with that?
It's hard to kind of pinpoint it. I was writing
Hmm.
poems from the time I was like 8 or 9, and I was kind of putting melodies to them. And then I started playing the guitar at age 11, and I wrote my
Hmm.
first song like proper can play through for like verse, chorus, verse at like 13, 12 and a half, 13. And then I was
Cool.
recording my music by 13. So yeah, about 13-ish.
Wow, that's so cool. So you started at a very similar age to me. That's so, so cool. I
I've
love
been doing
that.
this a very long time.
Yes. Yes, we've probably got very, very similar experiences in the industry, I'd say.
Yeah.
Some of the things you're saying, I'm like, oh, it's really hit home for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You were saying a little bit before, there's great, it's really great that female artists, like Hailstorm and even like Taylor Momsen, there was Lita Ford, Joan Jett. I see and hear a lot of those influences in your music. Is there anyone that's specific, that like specifically influenced you to get into that kind of style of music?
You know, it's really funny because I'd say Amy Lee from Evanescence, definitely.
Yeah.
When I first started writing, I was very influenced by AC/DC. AC/DC, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, AFI, Monster Magnet. And then in my later stuff that I've been writing in the last few years, there's a lot of Alice in Chains and Audio Slave in there.
Hmm.
It's very interesting because when I first started playing rock, actually hadn't heard Hailstorm because this is back when I was like 16, 15. And I would have people, as I got it later into my 20s, I would hear people say, "Oh, you sound like Hailstorm." And I was like, "Oh," and then I'd listen and I'd be like, "Oh shit. Oh, I guess so." So inadvertent, because I think Lizzie Hale's just, her voice is insane.
Yeah.
So I think very accidentally, I think there's I've ended up in that genre without
Yeah.
like, or sounding like I'm influenced by them, which I'm like so stoked on because I love Hailstorm, but it was
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, she's a queen. I remember like growing up kind of on Lizzie Hale, and like there's a, you can't really see her, but that's her legs there
Oh,
in this
sick.
poster.
Oh,
And that poster lived in my bedroom when I was a kid. So I'm very much a Lizzie Hale. She's my girl crush.
yeah, she's
And
amazing.
yeah, I've spoken to a lot of people that know her as well in the scene, and I'm like, oh my God, if I ever met that woman, I would die. I would
I
literally die.
know. Yeah, I there's a song of hers in particular, there's in particular Back from the Dead that I'm just like, damn, that's
Yeah.
so heavy. Like as
Yeah.
soon as I started listening to them, I was like, okay, this is great. I want to be in this lane.
Exactly, exactly. I think a Leah Martin-Brown, Cassidy Paris, Hailstorm Bill, that sounds good to me somewhere in the near future.
I think so. Might have to swap it over to Evil Walks. I think I'm a bit too poppy in the Leah Martin-Brown.
Yeah. That's okay. You can do a combo of stuff. It's your
It's
solo
true.
stuff. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's so cool. Do you, speaking about shows, do you have like a favorite show that you can remember playing that's like the one show that you're like, oh my God, I will never ever forget that show?
God, look, I've had so many great shows. I think the one I always reference because it was the biggest was Woodstock in Poland back in
Cool.
2015. That was probably like that was an insane experience. I would do terrible things to get that to do that again. I've had some pretty good shows at the Viper Room here as well. One on New Year's Eve, like 2017 into 18. That was a pretty sick show too.
Cool. I love that. I love that so much. There's a lot of killer venues out in LA. I've been to LA a number of times, but I've never been legally old enough to go to any of the venues
Yeah.
until now, this year. Is there a venue in particular that you really love?
Yeah, I will always stand the Viper Room. The Viper Room
Vibe
is
room.
one of the first places that let Evil Walks play because it's really hard to get gigs in LA when nobody knows who you are apparently. Like it's
Yeah.
it's just rough. Or there's lots of pay to play. So I love the Viper Room. There's so many other places that I love as well, but yeah, definitely the Viper Room is my favorite.
That's so cool. Yeah, I've heard lots of great things. Obviously, I want to go to the Rainbow as well because now I'm legally old enough to do that. Now that you live in LA, what do you think are the biggest differences in the music scene in comparison to Australia?
Um, Look, I it's hard for me to answer that question because I haven't really lived in Australia for like upwards of a decade. I
Yeah,
did spend some time back home a few years ago, and I worked just for fun at Moe's Desert Clubhouse in Burleigh Heads. So I did get to know some like really cool musicians. I just feel like it's just a larger scale here. There's so many more people. Like I think the lost population of Los Angeles County is close to how big Australia is as a whole, I believe.
yeah,
Um, so it really, the variety of genres you can find, the different nights of the week, any night of the week you can find it's going on. There's just a lot more ability to get out and play live in the same city, but have it not affect your draw. Like it's, yeah, I feel like that's probably the main difference. There's probably other ones, but I just think the volume.
yeah, yeah. No, that completely makes sense. What do you think? is kind of next for you in the music scene? Do you think you'll kind of gravitate towards the Evol Walks thing? Will you do more of the solo stuff? What is next for Leah Martin-Brown?
Well, it really depends. It's kind of up to Frontiers.
Yeah.
I I really love, like, Evil Walks will always be my baby. It's what I've always done. So I've been writing a record for Evil Walks. We have started playing shows again. We're playing in San Diego next month. We're playing in LA again. I'm just trying to get it back up. I think that's what I love to write. That's what I love to perform. And it's just kind of more of me. I think if I was invited to do another pop record, it would probably be a little bit of a departure from what has been already heard, because that's just not really, I didn't get to write that one. I was only the voice of it. So it would be taking elements of that and then putting it into my own voice, which is, again, probably going to be something very close to Evil Walks.
Yeah, of course.
So,
Yeah,
no
it's
matter
funny
what.
how like similar as well. Like when you speak about, writing for Evil Walks and stuff in that scene, I so understand you because I was obviously raised in the rock scene as well, so I get what it's like to, you know, feel the need and the craving to write for that scene. And like you said before, there's so many female artists in that scene, few and far between, but now there are so many female artists that are like killing it in the scene, so it's so motivating to see as well.
It is, and it's just I feel like when you find a genre, or it's not just a genre. To me, it's kind of a community, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like a lifestyle, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like a fully committed thing.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. I find that, like we were talking about before, obviously you have that little, like, 1% of negativity, but with the rock scene as a whole, I find that there are a lot of people that are just so, like, they embrace everything about everyone, and that's something that I really like. Can you think of a situation of like where that's happened? I know you just mentioned before to me that you've gone to NAM recently, and I'm sure that NAM would be a reflection of that as well.
Oh, absolutely. I just think the rock scene is very, especially if it's hard to kind of get into, I think, but once you're in it, people kind of recognize you and they'll support you. I
Yeah.
definitely feel like at least in recent times, the only time I've really had negative comments is when I've been presenting a softer style of music. And again, I
Hmm.
think it's just because they're like slightly less terrified. I think the red hair does things to people and they're like, oh, she's not okay. She's dyed her hair that color and she's been it for a while. She's got mental issues. Stay away. Leave her alone.
I love the red hair. I love anything, to be fair, I really do love anything that's out there. So when I saw the red hair, and I remember when Amy introduced me to you like early on last year, I was like, go off. I love it. I love it.
It's been a long time. It's been like 13 years, 14 years like this now.
Yeah, I remember the other day I saw your story and I was like, has she gone blonde? Like, I love the red so much, but
It's all
obviously
the
there's a
slimming.
whole, yeah, there's a
Yeah.
whole in between process, isn't it?
No, it's not even that. It's just this is a lot of upkeep. So I have products that I
Yeah.
use every single time, but when I'm home for Christmas, it's beach time, and these products are
Ah,
expensive. I don't want to put this, because this doesn't stay red. It has to be shampooed this red every day that I wash it. So when I'm in Australia, I just go
oh,
swimming and I like to scuba dive, and the water, like, that's just my color underneath this. So the water naturally leaches out the red, and if I go to the beach like 3 or 4
yeah.
times, my hair's gone like a peachy blonde.
Oh, right. Okay,
Yeah.
that fully makes sense to me because I
Yeah.
thought so obviously you would dye it. I'm gonna have a bit of girl talk here. You would dye it like bleach it first,
No,
right? And then the
I
red.
do not
No.
bleach. No, that's why it's still like, I just washed it. That's why it's like really thick
Ah,
and like healthy.
yeah.
I only dye the roots, and I do a developer mixed with the dye. The rest of it is all color from, like, residual color and color from the products that I use to keep it red. I do not bleach my hair.
You know what? I'm learning so much right now because I'm like, as you can probably tell, I'm like very in between like blonde at the moment, and I'm just at that point where I've just had it layered and I'm about to go on tour, and I'm like, what do I do next? And I think I'm gonna go like more blonde, but
Mm.
I'm learning so much, and I am very far from a hairdresser, as you can tell. Or you know, like I know all the basic hair care stuff, but that's so interesting to me. I would have definitely thought it was bleach and then red color. So oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, some people do it with bleach, but I wanted the longevity in my hair. So I have a friend who's a hairdresser who showed me how to do it. I also do this all
Yeah.
myself because in a salon, this would be $400 to $600. At home, it cost me 25 using the same products. And
Yeah,
if
yeah.
hairdressers are listening, I'm really sorry. Please
Yeah.
don't come at me.
No, and obviously, like with touring and stuff, because you go on tour a lot, the upkeep is always something that we got to think about. So if you can do it yourself, it's,
Oh,
you know, it's bliss.
look, the last tour I went on, we stayed at some hotels, but we stayed at a lot of people's like houses, and this like bleeds when I wash it. So I didn't wash my hair. I just had to take dry shampoo with me and dry
True.
shampoo
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I swear,
yeah,
after
yeah,
like
yeah,
3 weeks, my hair was like a friggin'. It was like a Barbie doll's where it's like plastic and just like not moving. And I was like moving, and my hair would like move with me because it's so dirty. I
yeah.
didn't want to wreck people's towels, you know. I was trying to be mindful.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's again, fully understandable. But these are things that when you're not touring, and I know obviously like males definitely would have these conversations too, but a lot of the time I don't have as many conversations like these with males because I don't get to tour with very many males that do that to their hair. So when I get to talk to a female about this, I just, you know, start blabbing. But yeah, no, it's definitely something you got to think about. So
It is.
on tour, actually, this is a great kind of like lead-in question. What is like your day in the life? I know you do day in the lives, like on your Instagram and TikTok and stuff, and I love watching them. What do you think is like your typical day in the life? Like, run me through it.
I think it really depends on the type of tour that we're on. I'll just use the
Yeah,
last tour I was on. I was doing so as well as doing my own stuff, I do session work. So I got
yeah.
hired on as a vocalist and guitarist for this really cool pop punk band called Crooked Teeth. And
Mm-hmm.
our days were like pretty hectic actually. So we'd wake up at say oh, no, they weren't too hectic. We'd wake up at like 8:30. We'd grab some food if we were staying at someone's house, or if not, we would just get in the car. We'd drive for anywhere between 6 to 12 hours, maybe stop over to gas station and grab some food, which I'm plant-based, so that's kind of hard. And then we'd go to the venue and get there anywhere between say 3 and 5 p.m. load in. Sometimes the venue would have like green rooms, which was cool, but other times they wouldn't. So me and the other bass player, who was also a female, we would like have our makeup stand in the back, and we're like trying to do our makeup in the green room or just in the bar itself. We
Yeah.
do sound check, get everything ready, and then before doors open, we try and get some food, which in certain places, again, a little bit of a challenge for me. I was very hungry on this tour.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we usually play our gigs, stay to the end of the night, and then load out. And we were very boring. We would go back to where we we're staying and we would sleep. There was no partying. And then we would wake up
Yeah.
again the next morning and do it all over again.
Yeah, girl, I am so much in the same boat as you. We are going to be very good friends because I am very similar. Like, I go straight back to the hotel room and just sleep because it is so rare to find a minute to sleep on tour. And I know, you know what? Hands down, to all the people that can do the party life, the social, everything in between with the whole touring thing, I cannot. I need my sleep to
Look,
be able to be, you know, singing every single day.
look, back in the day when I first started touring, when I was like 19 and 20,
Yeah.
I would go hard. There's
Oh,
like,
really?
oh yeah,
Okay. Now that makes
I
me
would
feel bad.
no, I would go. I'm sober now. I don't drink. So
Yeah.
yeah, no. Back when I first started touring with my first band, Lily Rouge, and even with Evol Walks when we first started, you know, I was 22, 23. I was 19 or 20 when I went on my first tour. Yeah, we would like not sleep. We would party all night. We would pass out at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. We'd have bus call at 7:15. We'd be super hungover in the van. Just like, why did we do this to ourselves? Yeah, I played this one show in Bendigo. I played this one show in Bendigo with my old band, Lily Rouge. We played with a band called the Black Aces, who we're really good
I know the
friends with.
Black Aces.
Yeah,
Yeah. Lovely
love
guys.
those guys. I'm still friends with them now, but so we've known each other over a decade. And I remember we did play in Bendigo with them, but we played in Shepparton the night before, and we played at this pub, and we went up there, and it was all you could drink. And then we were on last, and by the time we got on stage, they were coming up with syringes full of some kind of tequila, and like I don't know. I just remember like someone woke up on the lawn outside. I woke up in my room and I was fine. I was like, oh, thank God. Yeah, the next night my bassist was so hungover. That day he'd been so drunk he fell over and broke his bass. I remember playing at the Music Man in Bendigo and we were like throwing machetes at the wall. I've still got a video of that. Everyone's like really drunk. The owner like shut down the bar and kept us all in there and we just had this crazy party. And now I'm just like, oh, guys, it's a little cold. I've got my tea. I've got to go to bed. I've only had 7 hours sleep. And I'm like, my 21 to 22-year-old self would be disgusted. They'd be like, what do you mean?
Well, yeah, I know. That's so funny. I never really had an era like that. I love hearing about it because I never really had that era. Sorry, my dog has decided that he's going to come through the door right at this moment. How awkward. There's all these little outtakes in these podcasts. Yes, back to what I was saying. Yeah, no, I never really had one of those eras, so I love hearing all the stories because I'm like, I am in my like early 20s and I've never done I've never done any of that, but I love hearing about it.
Well,
it's like I'm living vicariously through you.
To give a caveat, I now did it so much that I haven't done it for 6.5 years going on 7, and I will never do that again. So it's not a bad thing that you haven't done it.
Yeah. Okay, I feel better internally now.
Honestly, it was also, I feel like, I know it sounds like it wasn't that long ago, but it's still like even 10, 14 years ago is what I'm talking about. 12, 14 years ago. Things were different back then as well. Like we hadn't had the pandemic. People were just a little more relaxed, and also social media wasn't the way it was. I don't think a lot of people would have done a lot of things if camera phones were everywhere. Like we had camera phones, but we didn't use them the way they use them now.
Yeah. That's it. Everything, like, as an artist, sorry, my dog is literally, he's never done this in a podcast episode. He's like scratching the carpet. Little maybe you can have a little cameo.
Oh yes, let's do a dog cameo. Let's do a dog cameo.
He can have a cameo. He's never had a cameo in a podcast before.
Oh, I feel special. Hello, puppy. Oh, darling, how are you?
Yes, he's going to run away and be really shy now. But you know what? At least if he's going to come into the room and be so rude, then at least he has a cameo in the whole thing. He wants to be involved. And now he's walked out. See, he's got what he wants.
Right. I have a dog that's very, very high maintenance, so I understand.
Oh yeah. I've got 2 poodles and they are literally like my babies. They're the most high maintenance dogs ever. What breed of dog do you have actually?
I have a German Shepherd Husky mix.
Oh my goodness. I think I've seen it on your story before.
Yes.
So cute. Adorable.
Yes.
Adorable.
It's lucky he's so adorable because he may have been murdered several times if he wasn't.
Yeah, no, that's honestly, I understand. No, my dogs just have this like small dog syndrome where they just decide to like they'll go on a walk and look like the cutest things ever. And now the other one has decided to grace us with his presence. This is just dog cameo episode, but
I'm here for it.
Yeah, me too. I'm pro all the pets in podcast episodes. But yeah, no, they will go on a walk and they will think that they are the biggest, German shepherds. And yeah, they're not the nicest, most friendly dogs. I wish they were. They're nice to me though, and
That's all
I'm
that
nice to
matters.
them. So that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
I'm gonna round this episode off with a question because I know, like, when I was younger, I would probably have looked at people like yourself and just thought, wow, like I'd love to be doing what she's doing. So what do you think is like your best advice you could give a younger girl that's kind of wanting to make her way into the music scene?
I'd say there's a few things. Am I allowed to have a
Mm-hmm.
few things? Okay.
Yes, yes, have all the
Uh,
things.
the first thing is get really, really good at what you do.
Yeah,
Because being a female in the industry, even now, you need to be twice as good as the men. You just
that's
need
true.
to be. So be exceptional at what you do. You can't just be good, you need to be exceptional. And
Mm,
you can get there. Everyone can get to exceptional. They just need to practice. Um, Always be kind and always be interacting with your community and the people in your scene, nicely, because, those are going to be the people who support you and they're going to be the people who know what you're going through. Because if this industry is really rough. It's probably one of the roughest industries out there. And I
yeah,
feel like it's super high highs and really low lows. There's no like normal, it's just like this the whole time. So when you're in your really low lows, they're going to be the people who understand what you're going through because they're going through it too. Probably better, like friends and family can definitely support you, but if they're not in the industry, they won't really understand. Um, and yeah, just there's room for everyone at the table. So just
it's
don't be a
true.
dick.
That's so true. Like when I see musicians in the scene that are like actively going out of their way to like hate on other musicians, I'm like, there's room for everyone. If you don't like it, just scroll. And you're so right. You have to work like double as hard as a lot of the other people in this industry in order to get somewhere as a female. And I think that's a really good message to put out to people too. It's really, really important to know that. So I love that. I'm just very grateful because a lot of what you were saying has really resonated with me today, and I really understand where you're coming from. And I've been through a lot of that, specifically last year. So it's so great to speak to another female that kind of has a similar perspective and experience in the scene. So I'm so excited to see what you do next, and I'll be following it and cheering you on. Thank you so much to everyone that has listened to this podcast. Leah Martin-Brown, everyone.
Thank you so much. And it's been an absolute pleasure, Cassidy. I'm so glad we got to do this.
Yes, me too. Signing off with Backstage Unplugged right here.